Hey, what's going on, peeps? All right, so I'm on my way to Orlando, and it's snowing, and my flight's been canceled. So I'm waiting for another one. Fingers crossed. I got a big SKO speaking engagement. So if I don't get out tonight, they don't get a speaker. I don't get to go. It's a shit show. So fingers crossed. So with that, I have time to talk to you about something. I've been meaning to do this video for a while, so I'm kind of stoked I get a minute to do this. What I want to talk to you about is this: learning. I want to talk about learning. Not enough time is spent on breaking down the skill of learning. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about learning being a skill. Because if you think learning happens automatically, if you think learning is a default mechanism as humans, you're crazy. Especially deliberate learning, okay? Yeah, we may touch the stove and be like, ooh, I learned that, don't want to do that again. But that's not deliberate learning. Deliberate learning takes a skill, and the greatest, most successful people are learners, and they've developed this skill over time. And if you're not developing your learning skill, you're stagnant, you're not growing. And unfortunately, too many of you are there. So I want you to think about this for a second. Some of the skills that are required to be really good learners is, number one, curiosity. Curiosity is absolutely critical, and the level of, or should I say the lack of curiosity that I see in business across all aspects is astronomical. Most of us just accept what's in front of us and move on. We don't ask the question often enough, why? What's going on? What's the objective? What makes us tick? Why is it going in the first place? How did this result? Why did this result happen? Why is this result different than the other one? What changed? Like, no one ever asks those questions. They just, okay, it is, and they keep moving on. So that's the first thing. People need to be far more curious in their day-to-day in their lives to be good learners. So develop your curiosity. Here's another one that people suck at: self-awareness and self-assessment. You can't learn if you're not open enough to understand what you don't know, right? Like, here's one for you. I'm about to go on a rant in one of these days on this, but anytime someone starts a conversation with me, and someone did it in the comments today, starts a conversation with me with, I've been doing this for 50 years, 30 years, 20 years, 15 years, fuck you. You don't know how to learn. Like, they're coming out of the gate, but basically arguing why they don't need to learn. That's literally what they're saying is, oh, well, I've been doing this for 15 years and I've seen, or I know, or I've done, right? And so they're literally saying to you, I don't need to learn. I know enough. Or prove to me I need to learn. So people don't take the time to stop and assess and say, what don't I know? What haven't I learned over these 30 years, 40 years, 25 years, 15 minutes? Look, I got teenagers. They're the freaking worst at it, right? They don't literally take the time to acknowledge and self-assess. What do I know? What don't I know? Where can I improve my learnings? When's the last time I was exposed to something that I wasn't aware of? When's the last time I've done some research? When's the last time I've read about this? Have there been changes in my space? Have there been changes in the information? Have there been changes anywhere? Right? Where am I deficient? And that's what people struggle with. Where am I deficient? And people don't like that. It doesn't make them feel good. I love it. Like, the minute I find a deficiency, that's a win for me. Ooh, I can fill that gap. Yes, okay, I didn't know this, now I know it. I'm on point, right? Most people do just the opposite. It's like, ooh, I don't know that, and I don't want to know that I don't know that, because then that means I'm not that good, and I don't want people to think I'm not that good, so I'm just going to pretend that shit doesn't exist and pretend I know it all, or I'm not even going to go there. So that's the second one. You literally have to do self-assessment and assess where you are, what you know, what you don't want. Now, here's another skill you need for learning. You need to have humility. You need to have humility. And that's another one that's tough for people. If you don't have the humility to acknowledge that you don't know something, or to acknowledge that you're wrong, or to acknowledge you have a gap in your awareness, to acknowledge that you're not as good as you'd like to be, to acknowledge that there's room for improvement. If you don't have that humility, you're not going to be open to learning. And so you can't learn. So guys, I think we need to spend more time on teaching people how to learn. Right? And then the last one is just, how do you take information in, right? There's a whole skill on just of searching on information, processing information, benchmarking information, comparing information, dissecting information, learning to diagnose in itself. So once you have those other three taken care of, then it's just, how do you get the information, process it, bring it in, diagnose it, benchmark it, compare it, and then draw conclusions. All of that stuff takes skill. And someone tell me, where in life were you ever taught that? Weren't taught that shit in school. They tell you what you got to learn, but they don't teach you how to learn, right? They don't tell you at work. Matter of fact, at work, they do just the opposite. Don't just do what we tell you to do. They don't really encourage learning. So here's my message to you. This is a long one. Here's my message. Start building your learning skills. Start building your learning skills. Add some humility. Do some self-assessment. Understand what you do and don't know. Understand it's a skill. Be open enough to process information. Be open enough to accept that you don't know shit, right? Start learning how to ask more questions. Start learning how to find information. Start learning how to benchmark it. Start learning how to compare it. Work on your learning skills and watch what happens to your career. Watch how fast you become a valuable asset to the organizations that you work for, to the people around you. Watch how much you become an asset. Really good learners become investments to people. Non-good learnings are expenses to people. Don't be an expense. No one wants an expense. All right? Go learn to learn. Learning is a skill. We're not taught it enough. Let's all learn the skill of learning. All right, y'all. Hope this was helpful. You know what I'm going to say. Peace. I'm out. I'm going to go learn something. Because a lot of shit I don't know, and I want to know more. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out.